Every night we do the strangest thing. We close our eyes, our sense of self dissolves, and then, cut, we wake up as if nothing happened. Same room, same bed, but is it the same universe? Dreams feel real, time gets weird, rules bend. If awareness really shapes what we call reality, like we've explored on this channel before, then what happens when awareness powers down? Here's a mind bender. What if sleep isn't just rest? It's transfer. A nightly jump cut where you and I drift among nearby versions of our lives and land each morning in the one that matches our state of mind. I'm not saying that this is necessarily the truth, but I'm inviting a thought experiment because even if it's partly true, it changes how we fall asleep and who we choose to wake up as. Welcome back to Thinking and Being. If you like what you see today, please be sure to like and subscribe, as this will enable you to see more content from myself and others just like this. And my pledge to you is to make each successive video just a little bit better as we go, so I hope you stay tuned and see how things improve. So why this particular topic? We talk about sleep like a light switch, on, off, done. But the more I've thought about it, the more it feels like a portal. This fits this channel's DNA, ideas that sit between physics, psychology, and meaning. It connects to past episodes, things like the double slit episode, thinking in probabilities, and the episode about free will versus destiny. If we're right, we gain a new way to steer our lives with gentleness and not force. If we're wrong, we still sleep better, we focus better, and notice life more. Either way, it's worth a look. So let's walk into the night with wonder, not fear, imaginative first and scientific second, and see where this leads by morning. So let's talk about the pineal gland and all the lore around it. At the center of this story is a tiny pine cone-shaped organ tucked deep in your brain, the pineal gland. Across history and art, Egyptian symbols, ancient staffs, even Renaissance churches, you see this pine cone motif, a hint at inner sight. Mystics call it the third eye, the seat of the soul, and kind of a cosmic receiver. Lore isn't proof, but it preserves meaning, that humans felt an inner orientation system or a compass that you don't hold, but you become. In that metaphor, the pineal is the dial that tunes us between day and night, noise and quiet, ordinary awareness, and whatever else is out there when our eyes are closed. A symbol can't grant us science, but it can aim our curiosity. And what does science actually say? Science gives us practical handles. The pineal regulates melatonin, the hormone that sets our circadian rhythm. When we feel sleepy, when we wake, it's tied into serotonin, sleep staging, and the timing of dreams. It even has photoreceptive roots, an evolutionary echo of a literal light sensor. Some researchers have speculated about other roles, but the solid takeaway is timing. The pineal gland is our when switch, not necessarily our why. Still, timing is powerful. If the pineal sets the rhythm for sleep's opening and closing act, then maybe it indirectly sets the stage for whatever selection happens while we're offline. The curtain doesn't choose the play, but it can certainly set when the scene changes. Let's talk about sleep in general. Sleep is a full system reset. Memory consolidates, emotions recalibrate, the immune system does magical things in its night shift. But what about you, the observer? In REM, or rapid eye movement phase of sleep, the brain generates cinematic worlds with no external input. Time stretches, jumps, loops, spaces merge. Neuroscience maps the mechanisms, waves and stages, neurotransmitters, but there's still a mystery about meaning. Where does the sense of I go? And what does it bring back? Here is a hypothesis. The observer doesn't disappear, it repositions. While the body repairs, awareness drifts among possible and probable futures, like a traveler walking through nearby rooms in the dark, then returns at dawn to the one that resonates most with its current state. And dreams are the perfect laboratory for that idea. In sleep, the brain runs full stack simulations, sight, sound, story, feeling, without the constraints of external reality. We rehearse conflicts, and we test skills, and we try on different scripts. People wake up with solutions they didn't have the night before. In a system sense, dreams are a sandbox, a safe environment to stress test possible next steps. If many futures exist as possibilities, the dream is where we explore them cheaply, emotionally, and creatively. When morning comes, we're already leaning toward one route. The dream didn't force the choice, it biased the trajectory. Now let's talk about the physics lens. In the many worlds interpretation of physics, every possible outcome exists in a branching cloud of possibilities. You don't vanish into one line, you exist as many, but your experience occupies only one path at a time. That path isn't random, so much as it is selected. Not magic, just an unimaginably large possibility space. If that's even a good metaphor, then consciousness is less a passive camera and more of an index, a pointer to which you gets loaded. All tabs open, one active. Night might be when the active tab can be switched without the friction of daily inertia. And selection isn't creation, it's alignment. What aligns us? Emotion, attention, belief, intent, basically our internal state. How we feel when we go to bed at night affects who we are when we wake up. These aren't fluffy ideas, they're measurable inputs that shape behavior and perception. They also compound. Tiny overnight shifts in mindset lead to tiny different choices in the morning, which lead to slightly different conversations, which tilt the whole day. And all those deltas add up. Good sleep hygiene clears the signal. Rumination and doom scrolling add noise. So in a system sense, your state leads to a new path, leads to reinforcement, which leads to a new state. Sleep isn't just rest, it's when the selector recalibrates. And back to one of our favorite parables on this channel, the double slit experiment. Unobserved, matter behaves like waves, smears of possibility. Observed, it snaps into particles or decisions. Reality waits for a measurement context. As we talked about before, all the things in your future depends on what could be known. During sleep, the context engine, your awake attention, idles. Maybe your wave of self re-expands locally, considering multiple nearby configurations. On wake, awareness collapses a version into experience. So this is a consistent metaphor that reminds us attention is not free. Where you place it and when shapes what becomes real for you. As we talked about before, energy flows where attention goes. So sleep pauses the measurement and morning resumes it. So there's a lot of talk out there about manifesting, and it kind of sounds like conjuring. But I think it's more like navigation. You don't create a new ocean, you just choose a route. Emotion becomes the rudder, attention the thrust, beliefs maybe the autopilot limits. The pre-sleep window is a powerful programming moment. If you pour fear, scatter, and resentment into it, tomorrow's route gets choppy. If you pour clarity and gratitude, then the system quietly steers you towards people and moments that match that signal. No fireworks, just alignment. Then you wake up and take one tiny action that collapses the version that you pre-selected. So how would you fly this particular ship? What is the pilot protocol? First, protect melatonin. Dim the lights, reduce blue light, give the pineal a fighting chance to do its timing job. Second, ask two gentle questions. Who am I tomorrow? And which world do I want to wake into? Third, breathe for 90 seconds, just enough to lower the noise. Fourth, visualize one scene vividly and specifically. Not a montage, a single moment that feels like yes. Fifth, anchor it with a feeling, calm, confident, and full of gratitude, and then release it. That release matters. Finally, in the morning, take a micro action that matches the picture. You're telling reality, please load this save file. And then when you wake, pretend you've arrived from a short flight. Notice small anomalies with curiosity. An idea, a message, a coincidence, an opportunity. Ask, what am I seeing today that invites the path I primed? Write it down. Say yes to the choices that rhyme with last night's feeling. Avoid doom scrolling for the first hour. That's like switching destinations at the gate. Think of breakfast as customs for the new timeline. Declare what you're bringing in, attention, emotion, and intent. and let the rest stay where it belongs, in the last universe. So in closing, maybe sleep is how the universe moves us gently. We go to bed as one version and wake up as another. Each morning, a soft landing in a nearby world. Science maps the gears, wonder maps the meaning. Use both. Steer lightly at night, act bravely by day. Worst case, you'll rest deeper and notice life more. Best case, you'll learn to surf your multiverse, choosing over and over the version of you that feels the most true and authentic. So, when you turn out the lights tonight, give your future a hint, and tomorrow morning, see which world answered. Thanks for watching today. My 3 key takeaways are: rest is the real form of travel. Close your eyes with intent and wake up in a better world. Next, sleep isn't escape, it's recalibration. Every night, consciousness resets within the infinite possibility space. Last, you don't create your future, you select it every day. What you wake up in depends on the state you fell asleep in. So what do you think? Do we shift into nearby universes or worlds when we sleep? Comment below and tell us. If you like what we saw today, please like and subscribe, as it will keep content like this coming your way. And stay tuned for more content ranging from consciousness to physics, philosophy to psychology, as well as all the intersections in between that affect your thinking and being. Until then, keep thinking and being, and do not go gentle into that good night.